Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Geek Out Loud. This is take two. I've discovered the problem is my streaming software, the OBS, keeps losing connection, and I don't know how to help that keep up with everything that's going on. It right now it's green. Right now we're all green. Everybody, it's green like the Hulk that I was trying to show off in the last one, and so this is why I don't do video. To plug this back in here, and what's going on here? This should be up. Oh no, I've messed everything up now, and so what you're seeing take place is you're seeing the worst of who I am go on. You're seeing me. Congratulations. Okay, so now we'll pull this. Oh Lord, no sir. Let's do this thing here. Boom. All right. Turn that over here. Everything seems to be going okay now. We're not dropping any more frames, it doesn't look like. But am I still streaming? That really becomes the question. And can I be heard? Who knows if I can be heard when this is going on? Because I don't have any audio input capture pulled up. So we'll do that. Okay. Now I feel like I'm being heard. So here's the question, ladies and gentlemen in the chat. Am I being heard? Is everything okay? Let me know in the chat here. Welcome back, all 8 of you. Thank you, Angie. You hear me? And I see you all, and I appreciate you all being here and bearing with me through this. Now, I've got to figure out, I can't, okay, so now the problem is I can't, my transition screen is not good. So that means I have to go to a website and download something, geekoutonline.com. Okay, let's see what happens here. All right, save image as. All right, now we're going to come back over here, and I'm going to. I'm just an idiot. I mean, really, the truth of the matter is when you listen to me, you're basically listening to an idiot. And that's why for all this time, I mean, look, I'm surprised that anyone would give me a listen when all this is said and done, because why would you? What is, I bring nothing to the table except this kind of stuff. How much fun is this? This is our new show. Steve deals with computer issues. This is, and Steve figures out what he's done wrong. Basically, let me let you know what's going on. I did not properly prepare for this situation. I have a light box here, which we tried to show you a little bit with the Hulk in a minute ago in the other live stream, and apparently we're doing a little bit better now. I've dropped 1,440 frames in the midst of trying to do this stuff. This is all on the video capture situation. The problem right now is with the communication between my computer and my webcam, I think is what has happened here. That's what I think is going on. And I didn't know, hey, Matthew Crowder. And now I'm being told it's not receiving enough video to maintain. The stream status is poor. This is the dumbest thing I've ever done. This is why I should just record stuff and do it that way and then just put it out that way. But I was really excited to do this thing, and so, but now I just see that it's horrible. Running helps. I'm dropping things left and right. Everything is bad. Nothing is good here. This is so strange. So now it's saying I've dropped no frames. I don't know. I don't know, everybody. I'm sorry. Troubleshooting with Steve. Yeah, that's what this show has become. So instead, let's try to come back over here. I want to show off this Incredible Hulk again and talk about that he's not Professor Hulk in the show, in the movie. Professor Hulk's a completely different animal, which I want to do a whole video, as some of the videos I've done, where I'm showing off some of the toys and stuff. I want to do a whole video about my Hulk stuff, and in which you will see an actual Professor Hulk. Now, this guy here, someone mentioned a while ago the Ab Crunch. This is a Build-A-Figure, and he was with one of the Endgame waves, but there were more comic book characters in the wave that came in this wave. One of the Serpent Society, who I can't remember, was in this wave. I can't remember exactly which one he is. But anyhow, so I love the Hulk, and so I want to put him together. He's got two different heads. This one here is the smiley head. And I've got him holding his fist up like, I'm tough and strong. And then this hand like, I'm going to grab something. And I'm going to, or here, have a taco. But I don't have a little baby taco to put in his hand as though he's holding out. But I was really excited because what I was able to do was actually buy some of the Build-A-Figure pieces very, very cheap, that I didn't need to buy all of the figures. Because one of the bummer things is when you want the Build-A-Figure, but you don't want all the figures in a wave. And I mean, look, kudos to Toy Biz back in the day when they started here with this guy. I bet we can't fit this dude in the screen at all. When Toy Biz was doing Marvel Legends and they started out with this fella, he won't even fit in the box. What's in the box? You can't see him, but it's Galactus. Let's see here. Whoa. Look at that. Look at that fella. That is a beast. Let's take it. Whoa. And this isn't recording because I didn't record. I didn't hit record. I hit stream, which was a big mistake in my life. So, so here I am sitting here talking to you guys, and it's like, there's nothing to, anyhow, it's very disappointing. Anyhow, the Professor Hulk was an amalgamation between the Green Hulk, the Gray Hulk, and the personality of Bruce Banner. And he came out not with he wasn't like Banner in the Hulk's body, which is what the Hulk we got in Endgame was. The Hulk we got in Endgame was literally Mark Ruffalo, Bruce Banner in the Hulk's body. And so, and the Professor Hulk actually has a little bit more of an attitude. He's a little bit more of a smart aleck. He's got that Joe Fixit about him. There was a time in the comics, a couple of times in the comics, where Bruce had control of the Hulk's body. And he would lose it, and the whole thing was, will he lose control of the Hulk or not? Will he always maintain control of this body, or will the Hulk's personality end up reasserting itself and stepping in? And come to find out, well, the Hulk did take over eventually, oftentimes. So anyhow, that's the Professor Hulk Build-A-Figure. I was really excited to get him. I showed one time we were doing a test with some of the Geek Out Loud stuff, and there's someone out there that makes like literally custom clothes for this guy so that he actually has outfits, because like this outfit is kind of like what he was wearing when he was talking to the Ancient One on Doctor Strange's roof before Doctor Strange got there. But he's got some good articulation so that, he can kind of be a little natural. This up here twists a little much. This is called the ab crunch, I guess. So you can see that he doesn't really have a lot of head movement to the up and down, but the shoulders have a kind of a good move, but they don't have that butterfly thing in the back that some figures do. This really isn't a figure review. It's more of a, hey, look at this. And this gives me a chance to talk about the Hulk there. So, that's the Hulk. Another thing that I've been excited that Marvel has done is one of my favorite comics from the late 90s, early 2000s. There was a situation called The Heroes Reborn, and what happened is, there was Onslaught, and Onslaught shows up, and he is like the embodiment of the evil that is Magneto. And all the heroes, he became like this psionic energy. And so the heroes had to step into him. That couldn't be the mutants. It had to be just superheroes. It couldn't be people with the mutant gene. And they stepped into this big thing of energy to prevent it from continuing to grow. And it dispersed the energy and defeated the evil Onslaught. So, what happens is the heroes are gone, and they were actually transported to a whole other universe, a pocket universe, created by Reed and Sue Richards' son, Franklin Richards. And with all the heroes gone, that left a gap. That left a definite issue for our heroes, and so the Thunderbolts stepped up. And there was this hero. These are three of the Thunderbolts, and it was a great concept. The Thunderbolts was an outstanding concept. This is Citizen V, and he was the leader of said Thunderbolts. He led the charge, and this is Mach 1. He's kind of the flight expert and that sort of thing. That's Songbird in the back. Now, Songbird is these wings here are like, this isn't part of the Princess of Power collection. These are meant to be made of sound. She has an apparatus that she, almost like Claw, does sound. She does sound, and so she can fly on these wings of sound and make different things out of sound. Kind of almost a mockingbird / Claw kind of person. There was also Atlas, who was a tall guy. There was Meteorite, who was very energy based in her powers. There was Jolt, the hopeful teenager, who kind of came in and was like, I love the Thunderbolts and everyone loves you guys. And then there was Techno, who was all about technology and was just a wizard at technology. And so this guy, Citizen V, and you can see, very patriotic with the red, white, and blue, the stars and stripes adorning his shoulder and that sort of thing. He led the charge of this team. And so you read through the whole first issue, and it's like, here are the Thunderbolts, and they're awesome, and they're new heroes, the Justice like lightning, and come to find out, oh no, it's not Justice like lightning, it's the Masters of Evil in disguise. And what they've done is, with the Avengers gone and all the heroes gone, they've taken on new personas. This guy was Baron Zemo. This girl was Screaming Mimi. This guy was the Beetle of all people. And so they took on these personas to try to endear themselves to the populace, to the population. And so they formed the superhero team. And of course, some of them want to turn good and others don't. And then the others had different identities as well that are revealed at the end of this first issue. And so now the whole thing becomes, it's one of the greatest concepts, really, I think, that Marvel did during the Heroes. The whole Heroes Reborn thing was pretty ridiculous, but this was a great concept that came out of it. How do you redeem the bad guys? How do you, do they even want to be redeemed? What do you do when the good guys are actually bad guys and that sort of thing? It was a great concept and pretty well executed for the first year until all the heroes come back. So that is those are the Thunderbolts, and I was really excited that Hasbro was doing those Marvel Legends. Another thing I got really excited about in recent months was this guy, and I've pulled off the wrong. I left one figure where I shouldn't have left it. I just have this one that I've pulled up here, and that is Doctor Doom. Now, Doctor Doom, early on when Toy Biz was first doing Marvel Legends, they did Doctor Doom, but this cat, man, is just outstanding. You can kind of see, hopefully, the let me get a pen. A pen. Oh, you know what? I'm going to use Jabba's palace axe as a pointer. Lando. This is Lando as a This is Lando in disguise. I'm going to use his weapon here to kind of point some things out. You see the texture here? It looks like cloth. This is molded into the plastic. It's really, really super cool. And you can even see right there the divots around the, maybe I should use the pointy part, the divots around the gauntlet and everything. He's got a little gun blaster on the side. And one of the cool things that got molded into this version was when you look there at the arms, you see the strap as though these things have been strapped on, like with leather straps, the armor has been strapped on. Doctor Doom is one of the greatest villains of all time. And unfortunately, he's not been done well in any of the movie. The most well done that he was done in the movie franchise was the never released Fantastic Four film that you can now find in bootleg form. Early on, when Toy Biz was doing Marvel Legends, they did a Doctor Doom that was great, and it still is a great figure. This one becomes superior, though, due to the molding of the armor and the way they really went above and beyond with this cat. And so he's one of my favorites. But then here's the problem with this guy, is he came in a wave of figures that the Build-A-Figure was Super Skrull. And I love Super Skrull. Super Skrull, they have it during, he has all the powers of the Fantastic Four, and he's just one of the great villains of all times. He really truly is. He's one of the great baddies of all time. And so you had to buy. But now the Fantastic Four wave that he came with was not great. It was more or less their newest outfits, which are all black, and Reed has a beard, which is fine. You know, I mean, look, Reed's a professor. Of course, he's probably going to have a beard of some sort, and so it's just it's unfortunate that, again, it's a bunch of figures that I didn't necessarily want, even though I love the Fantastic Four, have always loved the Fantastic Four. But to me, the superior Marvel Legends wave was the Fantastic Four of Walgreens, and I don't have any of that pulled out to show everybody. So let's turn to the chat. This is our celebrating 100 people live stream here. Star Wars swipes. I should do Star Wars swipes. I wonder if this will do that. Thank you, Mark All. Let's see what we have on the transitions. No, there's no. Let's see. No, there's no. Yeah, there's a quick transition you can do like that, but there's no transitions where you can actually do a Star Wars wipe in this particular. Maybe there is. I don't know. Yeah, no. I bet I could. I bet I can download some and add them, but I don't know how to do that right now. And it seems like we've been pretty okay with the stream for a few minutes. I don't know if we have been or not because I got focused in on the toys. So let's see what else we've got here in the chat. See what people are saying. It's the Steve's Board Show. I wanted to do 100 subscriber thank you episode and thank everyone for subscribing because I know there hasn't been a lot of content on the channel, and I wanted to, have a little bit of content out here, and I see that's what YouTubers do. I'm just trying to be a good YouTuber. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be a good YouTuber, everybody. Excuse me for trying to be a good YouTuber. And so then I thought, well, what am I going to do on a YouTube? Well, I can play with some toys and show off some toys. And there's one thing I definitely want. How many people we have? 14 people here right now. Basically the fate of a toy is going to rest in your hands by the time this is over. So I want to show a couple more things. This was one that I was absolutely stoked to get my hands on. This is the Captain America, and it's got too much glare. See, I need to set this in here. I need to bring us back over here to the light box. This is the Captain America Endgame. It's been nicknamed the Worthy Cap. I don't do a lot of the movie versions of these things just because that's not quite my jam. I love the comic book Marvel Legends because there's just something to me about the coolness of the Marvel Legends doing actual like comic book characters that I'm familiar with from back in the day. In one of my first videos, I showed off Night Thrasher, and who was from New Warriors, and Vance Astro from the original Guardians of the Galaxy. And I just, seeing those kinds of things. There was a Spider-Man wave with Captain Universe that I missed out on, and I just. And something like having Captain Universe is just amazing. Especially my introduction to Captain Universe was during the Acts of Vengeance when Spidey got all cosmic on me and everything, on all of us. So here is this. The thing about this cap though is this is the end game cap, and though the shield's not busted, you can see it's pretty scuffed up. And let me see if I can show you back there behind. There's a Mjolnir behind there because this is Worthy Cap, and when you actually pull this bad boy out. I've seen them on display with several things. When you pull them out, it's a terrible camera angle. The box is too small. The light box is honestly, it's too small. He looks like he stepped off the screen from that scene in Endgame, where he's staring down everybody, and he's got the, just before he says Avengers Assemble. What a glorious moment that was in cinema history, in superhero cinema history. At that. So I'm really excited. I was going to open him, but opening is such a process with these things that I don't think I'm going to open him on screen, but I should probably. If I were doing a video and editing it down, I would show off the box and then edit. So let's see how many people we got rolling along here with us today. So glad all you guys are just we're just kind of hanging out. So let's see what's being said in the chat. No problem with the stream. Great. Latest Black Series. I don't have any Black Series anymore, Dylan. I don't. Did I just... You know what I did? I did a stupid thing. Y'all are just looking straight at widescreen right now. A YouTuber who does not what he is doing. Maybe one day I can get a second webcam and actually cut between cameras and really do it up just right. And it's not focusing now. Focus. Let's bring it into focus. There we go. And now I'm back. Maybe one day I can do this thing where I have like 2 web cameras going and I can cut back and forth between. That'd be fun. This is kind of fun, but let's go back to the chat here and see what people are saying. No problem with the stream. Latest Black Series. You know what? I stopped doing Black Series in lieu of Marvel Legends for one thing, and I'm not collecting a ton of Marvel Legends. I'm just kind of getting what I like. And then the vintage collection. I love the Star Wars vintage collection. It's actually, it just brings me more happiness than even the Black Series stuff does. And so instead of continuing to collect the Black Series like I was doing, and at the time, by the time before Last Jedi hit, I had except for a couple of exclusives, I had every Black Series figure that had been released. And I've sold them all. Most of them for the wedding and everything. I do have a few though, thanks to our good buddy Shaz Bazaar. He hooked me up with, and I've been tempted. Understand, I've been tempted to get back into the Black Series here and there with some of the stuff they've released, but I end up being such a completist when it comes to the Black Series figures. I'm actually playing with one right now. I won't put him in Lightbox. I'll just hold him up to the camera here. This is Yoda. This is the Spirit Yoda. Shaz Bazaar picked this up for me for my birthday. I like the idea of the Princess of Power collection, the She-Ra Prince, because he's all sparkly on his robe and everything. Yeah, he's a cool looking little guy. I do like, and they've re-released some, not just with the Empire 40th stuff that's out, but they had re-released some like the Darth Maul and Bossk and Boba Fett on like a different card that I almost picked up just because they really did look good. And one of the things that I had wanted with the Black Series was to have all of the original bounty hunters from Empire in the Black Series, because I had Boba Fett and I picked up Bossk and of course IG-88, and then they came out with Forlom and Zuckuss and eventually Dengar as well, and it just would have been a kind of a cool thing to have them standing there with Vader. I just always liked that look. Who didn't? I mean, let's be honest. It's Empire Strikes Back, but I also have, and I didn't grab him. I should have grabbed him. Shaz also found the Obi-Wan and clone armor Black Series that I absolutely love. And it looks great. And so if they do release something that is like, man, I just really want that, I want to have that, I got to have that one, I'll probably pick up a Black Series. I've got a Imperial Guard because I love the Imperial Guard. So if it's stuff like that, I may grab stuff. I've still got my Jedi Luke Black Series that I like, and what else? I think that's the only Black Series figures I've got right now. And so, and honestly, it plays into a couple of things. I sold a big chunk of my collection before the wedding to try to, number one, make room for my wife, but then also to just kind of get some money, for honeymoon and other things going on. And so basically what's in my Star Wars collection right now is mostly vintage stuff and some of the vintage collection figures. I picked up real cheap at Ollie's the vintage collection Imperial tank from Rogue One. They had marked down significantly the vintage collection TIE Fighter on the website, so I picked that up. But by and large, I kind of keep it to the vintage collection figures these days, and I may ramp up looking to complete my vintage stuff eventually. Excuse me while I take a sip out of a Star Wars glass. That's not a Corona cough. And speaking of the vintage figures, we'll go there in a minute with some stuff. Or the vintage collection. But yeah, so that's just kind of, that's where I'm at on the Black Series stuff. I did want to get a Black Series Mandalorian, but of course on Triple Force Friday, it was Triple Bleh Friday. and there's still been no Black Series Mandalorians to be found. I love the design of that character, and I end up loving the show. So obviously I want that. I have on pre-order, and I should have pre-ordered it from a different place than I did. The Black Series Baby Yoda, and I'm really looking forward to that getting here. I've seen some people actually have it already, and so that's super cool. And so I'm really excited about that. Let's see. What's our YouTube crew going to be called? Ooh, that's a good good question. We've got the Mixler Zoo Crew. Should it just all be Zoo Crew? You know, the YouTube Zoo Crew? And that the reason I do Zoo Crew is because, it's the morning Zoo Crew with, Fat Steve and the blah, that kind of thing. And so I just always liked the idea. It was the Twitter Zoo Crew, then it was the Mixler Zoo Crew, and why not the YouTube Zoo Crew? I think that'd be good. What else? I'm going back to see what else we may have missed here in the chat, because that's what you do on live streams, right? You pay attention to the chat. I have now added, this is from our good friend Carissa, I've now added to my resume expert Coronatide videographer. So I was in charge of Steve's camera. I'd go back and forth from the toys to see his face. And that's kind of the idea, but we'll work it out as Guardians of the Golaverse. I've thought about that, Matt Crowder. By the way, Matt Crowder, so good to see you. I've got one of the Vaders that have the shock face from Palpatine. Yes, the Vader's Wrath Black Series. That figure was first released. I wonder if I can do this. I'm gonna attempt something, ladies and gentlemen. Vader's Wrath, Power of the Jedi. The first time they did a figure like that was in the Power of the Jedi line, not Vader's Wrath, Emperor's Wrath. I always forget how to spell Emperor. Emperor's Wrath, Vader. Power. The first time they did it was a 3 3/4 line. The Power of the Jedi. That line was between episodes 1 and 2, back in 2001 and 2002. Maybe they started in 2000, but I think it was mostly 2001 and 2002. The preview figures for that for episode 2 actually were in that line. Were in the Power of the Jedi line. And so when they did a Black Series version, I was really stoked. I really dug it. And that was one of my favorites. That figure was one of my favorites. He had a glow in the dark. You could hold his helmet up to the light and there'd be a glow in the dark skull in there. I'm trying to find a good image of it, and I messed up and took out Power of the Jedi. Power of the Jedi. He wasn't greatly articulated, but he didn't look bad. So let's see. View image. Okay. Now I'm going to try to do this, ladies and gentlemen. Bring that over here and see what we got. Nope, that's not going to do it. I'm working on something right now with everybody. But yeah, that was a great one. That whole line, the Power of the Jedi line, to me, and I've said this 1,000 bazillion times, Hasbro really hit their stride with 3 3/4 inch figures with that line. They went too far after that line into action features, and in fact, some of the episode 2 figures were almost like statues because of all the robes and everything they did. But it was interesting, to say the least, that they went so far and not even into articulation. Like, they just went way far off the rails into action features, which was which was not something that that people were into. Here is a picture courtesy of Amazon. Here's a picture of the Vader's Wrath Power of the Jedi figure. You can see that he is. I wonder if I do this, if it'll. No, it won't impact that one at all. So I'm going to try to make him a little bit bigger here. You can kind of see. You see the helmet up there is translucent, and there's light and everything. But the skull will glow in the dark. His hand would come off. The hand that holds it, maybe it's this hand, as though Luke had cut it off, which is really cool. I forgot to add an audio capture. Dadgummit. I'm sorry, when I switched over to this scene, I had to add the audio and I forgot to, so I'm sorry. This is the Power of the Jedi Vader, and his cape is molded. His helmet is translucent and it glows in the dark when you hold it up to the light. One of these hands come off as though Luke had cut it off, and so you can literally have him if you could get a good Emperor, and you could get him positioned just right. You may have to use some string or some fishing line to hold the Emperor up, or have him propped up against something invisible, or use like some poster putty or something. But you could have him you could have a scene where he's about to throw the Emperor over the guardrail of the Death Star 2, should you so desire. I mean, that, of course, do it however you want to do it. That's how you do it. But they did a Black Series as that as well, and like I say, this was one of my favorites of all time, as far as the Power of the Jedi line goes, and the Power of the Jedi line was the best thing Hasbro did until the Vintage Collection came along, because of going too far into the action feature route, too far into more of a statue type route. The figures got to be unwieldy in some instances because of the action. For kids they were great. For collectors, maybe not so much. So, that was one of my faves. Going back to the comments here really quickly. I had that one and lost it at college between moves. Sorry, Dave. That's a bummer. Walgreens was an exclusive 6-inch. That's correct. I'm sorry, the Black Series was a Walgreens exclusive. I ended up having two of those that both got sold. But I hated to sell those because those were some of my fun. Those are some of the more fun stuff I had. All right, we're going to I'm going to do this to kind of close out the show, because this was something I was really excited about. I love The Mandalorian, and to me, it's one of the best things. I'm not going to say it's like, I don't like when people are like, this is the best Star Wars since Empire Strikes Back. Well, no, I don't know about that, but it is good. It was great Star Wars. It's a great show, and I haven't watched it since it aired, and I probably need to do it again. The Clone Wars has been really good. I feel like there's pressure on me as a Star Wars fan to really like this arc, maybe a little more, this final arc, maybe a little more than I do. It's been awesome. Look, the fight between, I don't know if we need to should we spoil? I wish I had a big text right now that said spoiler alert to come across so I could be spoiler alert. But that lightsaber battle between two characters was fantastic. It was wonderful. And the way that they didn't necessarily mo-capture it, but they did kind of mo-cap with actually Ray Park doing Darth Maul's moves and everything. And then the stunt woman doing Ahsoka's moves. Well, there it is. Spoiler alert. Anyhow, but there's also been kind of an air of sadness, because this thing is happening with Revenge of the Sith, and it's really kind of sad. But that's not to say it hasn't been awesome. It's been great. It's been fantastic. It's been amazing. And so, I've enjoyed that. But let's do this. But what I'm saying is I feel like maybe there's a little pressure that fans are supposed to like it, maybe more than I do, maybe more than I have, even though I've completely enjoyed it, absolutely enjoyed it. I don't want to make it sound like I haven't liked it. I'm saying that I don't know that I have geeked out for it as much as everyone else has. It's really that internet culture of everyone must like all the things that everyone else likes. So, this bad boy came in the mail just the other day. This is, The Mandalorian, and as you can see, this isn't shiny Beskar steel. This is kind of his regular. I love this figure, and if I had the Black Series one, I wouldn't have the dilemma that I have right now. I do love the packaging. I love the vintage style packaging. This up here, the way the Mandalorian logo is there, honestly, that looks like. Look at my ugly fat hands. That honestly looks like the Power of the Force more than it does a Star Wars deal. Because, all of these different movies don't really have the thing about the vintage Star Wars stuff. And let's see if we can roll this around here real quick to show. You see how each of these figures, like this is Vintage Collection Chewbacca, and it's on a Star Wars card. Well, there is the Return of the Jedi card. And you see how each of these, and then you come up here, and there's the Empire Strikes Back card with Han Solo and, of course, the Princess Leia. But you see the logos really fit. And when they try to do, and I don't have any non-original trilogy vintage collection stuff up here, when they try to do these other things that they don't necessarily have a logo for, sorry everyone for the ride there. It just looks kind of strange. And this looks like the Power of the Force stuff from back in the day, which was a little more, they just kind of changed some things up. But anyhow, so here's the question today as we kind of close things out, because I got to go. This is, I don't know if I should open it or not. So here's what I would like to ask the opinion of the chat with 18 viewers right now. On camera, do we open this thing today or do we leave it closed? I'm now taking votes from the live stream to see what everyone has to say. So you tell me what you think. Should we open or should we not open? It's the old should I stay or should I go conundrum. And I feel like this thing is locked up. No, I'm just very still right there. Of course, there's a delay. Open from Dylan. Okay, there's one for open. If I'm going to open, I've got to get my gloves. Not that I use gloves, but I just don't want my hands to be all in the screen because I got fat, ugly hands. But anyhow, so that's one for open. I need more. Look, y'all, if you're going to be on here watching, I need you to vote. Open or keep in the pack. That's my question. This was a pre-order. The kicker is I don't know that I'm going to find it to display again. So Michael Nip says, "What am I using for hangers?" I'm using the what do you call them? The hooks, like some hooks from the M3 hooks. It would go up there if I don't open it, Dave Jones. I've got to get some more hooks because I also have okay, I've got 2 openers, 3 for open. It would go up there, Dave, if I don't open it. Next to I've got to get a Gamorrean guard and get the Luke back up there. So let's see what the back of the card looks like. This is cool. I was glad they started doing this. The problem nowadays with what they're doing with some of these card backs is rip it open. Keep, says Jeff Fett, open with knife. I don't know how to... You mean, you cut the bubble when you open, don't you, Shaz? I don't have my knife in here. So I can't... I'm sorry. I can't open with knife. If I open, it's going to be straight up, open this bad boy up. With the whole... all the legal stuff they have to do, all this stuff down here anymore is just not... It just kind of... It just kind of... takes away, because back in the day you'd have these guys up here and there'd be pictures of some ships and stuff down here. So that's kind of where we're at. So okay, so we got 2, 3, 4 don't open, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for open. I'm very much on the fence. I can't just very sharp against the card. Thank you, Shaz. I know, but I don't have a knife back here to do that. So the card's going to get ruined regardless. It's a bummer. Do not rip it. eBay has another for $25. Well, yeah, but when this is like a $15 card, you don't want to do $25. Angie says open. Open seems to be winning the day. Now in my heart, I don't want to open, and I realize how much I don't want to. It's the battle within us all. Guild Wars Girl says don't open. Okay, all right. Do not rip it. Shaz is like all about the do not rip. I don't think I have any type of sharp instrument here in the office to keep it, to do what you're asking me to do, Shaz Bazaar. I'm sorry. If it comes open, it's going to it's going to get ripped. I'm sorry. That's just how that's life right now. Shaz is saying no. Chris says don't open. But Chrissy, you said open earlier. All right, I can't handle the back and forth now. Come on. Don't act like a governor. Shaz Tull is calling in. All right, let's see what he has to say on the speaker. Hey, Shaz.
Don't you dare.
What?
Not without a knife. You got to save the card, man.
Well, but I mean, look.
Don't you dare.
What?
I had to stop watching the live stream just to stop you, man. I stopped everything I was doing. Don't give in to the dark side.
Dylan Newhouse says, "Open it like you would have at 10 years old."
No,
So,
at 10, I was very cautious
Yeah.
with it. I was
Yeah.
still preserving cards. Don't open it, Steve.
all right. Well, I'll go back and see what everyone else is saying.
It's not a democracy.
It's not. No, it's a Steveocracy. So,
Okay.
see ya. So Shaz Bazaar is like totally anti-open. I love what Guild War Girl says here in the chat. She says, "Always buy two, one to play with and one to keep in package." That used to be my thing. I used to do that. That used to be the standard I lived by. But several things came to pass. These things became $15 a piece instead of like $5 or $6 or $7 a piece. And also, I just kind of got out of the mentality. I used to kind of be a some I would open, some I wouldn't kind of guy. But I'm telling you, Daddy Shaz says no. So I did not do two. Spite open. All right. Well, here's what we're gonna do. I will make a little bit of a compromise here. This is a Legacy Collection Darth Vader. This is right around the Clone Wars, around the first season of the Clone Wars. He was built a droid figure, parts to build R7ZO. Other figures in this line included the deleted scene Tatooine Sandstorm figures of Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Chewbacca. One of my favorite Ewok figures here that came with a little baby Ewok. Yarna, who everyone thought they wanted for years and years and years. This guy, what's his name? Bane Millar. He's the guy that Chewie knocked out on the way into Jabba's palace, and then a drummer from Jabba's palace. Very Return of the Jedi centric wave, which I absolutely loved. I honestly don't remember ever picking this figure up. It doesn't have too much sentimentality to me. I did like building the droids and getting the droids built, but it's a really cool Vader. You can kind of see he's got the scar on his head and everything. Look at that face. His mask comes in two pieces, just like the Return of the Jedi has, and so it's a really cool figure that is worthy of opening. And I want to compare it to once I get him opened, I want to compare it to this guy. Now, this is a vintage collection Darth Vader. It's a cool figure. He's pretty well articulated and everything. His helmet comes off in one piece. You can see the sculpt. I can already see the sculpt is a little bit different. Let's see if I can get that to focus up. Yeah. You were right. You were right about me. Tell your sister you were right. Head's a little bit smoother, and this helmet doesn't quite lock into place like you'd want it to. As articulated as all the vintage collection figures tend to be, is that Vader. What's the disappointment level right now? So heat the glue up. That's a good idea. So this was, anyhow, this is a really cool Vader. This is a good Vader. This is a good figure to make a compromise on. And these were a little bit easier to open. They had some tape on the back. As you can see right there, you could actually get up under that tape and open them. But I didn't like this card style at all. The shape of the card. They started this kind of shapy card with Episode 3. And with the Episode 3 figures. And I just wasn't a big fan. And it kind of continued right on into like the Rebels era and everything. Here, I'll set that Vader up and you can caption him really quickly while I peel the tape away here. The deleted scenes figures were fantastic. Luke would later be released in a deleted scene figure on a vintage card, and he had a robe and everything, and he had parts for making his little lightsaber. I don't know that Han would be released again, but Leia would be, and of course she's now impossible to find. I dig the 3 3/4 inch. So this is what they call the Legacy Collection around this time. Pulling that bubble away, I've got the tape pulled off, and then, oh yeah, there you go. That's a good rip right there. I never liked these cards very much, so no sweat here on this. Now someone's going to be like, Steve, that figure's going for $50. Build-A-Figure parts for R7ZO. Now we pull. Oh yeah, I forgot they used to put these rubber bands on them. Gee whiz. And now I've broken Vader's arms. So here's this guy. Let's see if we can get a good look at him. The detail on this one, honestly, the paint and everything and the way the head is molded, it's not as smooth as the other Vader is without his mask. Let's see if that will... No. Okay. And it actually makes for... I think that's a superior Vader, to be honest with you, with the mask off. So, but now the question is, what happens when you put the mask on? It comes in 2 pieces, which is really interesting because that's how his mask came off in the movie, of course, and also gives you more to lose. So, first you put this piece on very snugly. It fits really snug. Just for once, let me look on you with my own eyes. And then that actually has a little groove that it fits into. Well, you know what? About the same issue here it's having as the other Vader. I'm sorry it's not in focus. This is where Stuffity would try to help me out, I think. So let's see here. There we go. You see there's a little bit of gap between the chin and the mask. Vader honestly is best when it's just all molded down. But and the way the cape is not attached to the little string here on both of them. It's run into his shoulders, and then the string that's supposed to be the metal chain just kind of hangs there. So they're pretty much the same figure, it seems like. The capes are made of the same material. The paint job's a little bit different. In fact, the paint job of this guy seems a little sloppier in some instances than this guy. The head sculpt on this one is much preferred to this. The lightsabers are pretty much the same. Yeah. Now, this is interesting. He's got green and red, and he's got the blue and red stuff going on, motif on his chest. So, this one seems maybe a little bit thinner in the head. But definitely, look, and this is Hasbro for you. And this is one of those things. When I bought this Vader, which was the Vintage Collection Vader, you're buying for the card. And that's where a lot of times, that's one of my frustrations with toy collecting in the current era, is there's a lot of things that go on, and it has been this way for a long time, especially with Star Wars figures, that a lot of what you're buying basically packaging. You're not necessarily buying a new figure. It's all about the packaging that you're buying. I'm sorry. And so you end up getting just a rehashed deal of what you've already bought, and you end up paying for a piece of cardboard with a picture on it, basically, or a different box, that kind of thing, which is fine, and it's fun, and that goes into the closed collector kind of deal. That kind of leans into that. But if you've got a limited income, you've got to be very particular. And if you like to open things, I think everything's gotten too expensive to do 2 of each thing anymore. And I really think that you have to make a decision or do what I've done, because, I decided a long time ago there was some stuff I like to open, some stuff I like to leave closed. And so, in this case, I guess we're going to leave that Mandalorian closed for now, because Shazbazzar was very adamant about not opening him without a knife or a razor. So, look, everyone, thanks so much for joining us. I don't know what the rules are for closing out, and so as far as these things go, but I know I need to go, and I want to thank everyone for 100 subscribers. Maybe next time I'll have a different plan. I guess the next milestone is like 1,000. Dare I think we ever get 1,000 subscribers to this channel? I don't think we ever will. So let's say the next milestone for a live stream will be 200 subscribers. 250 subscribers. We'll do another live stream, and I'll actually have something a little more planned out next time. In the meantime, I have filmed the first cooking through the Star Wars cookbook video, and I just need to edit it and get it uploaded. So that's going to be fun, trying to figure out how to best do that. And also, as it pertains to as it pertains to this channel, I've got some other plans and stuff I want to do, as well as with the actual audio, the Geek Out Loud proper, as we would call it. So a lot of fun things, a lot of plans, and that's always the thing, the best laid plans of mice and men. So hopefully we'll be doing more of this and have some good times and have more concurrent viewers than 16, and hopefully people actually like what we're doing. So I guess if you're checking this out later on, like us, subscribe to us. Is that what you're supposed to do with YouTube? And share with your friends if you enjoy it. So have a great one, everyone, and we'll see you around the Golaverse. Dun 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 dun. I feel like I risked a lot by not. I feel like I risked a lot by doing that, by actually playing at the beginning. Doom 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 doom.